What's going on, peeps? Are you chronically online? Well, I think I found the creator for you. This is Drive45, mainly known for their sarcastic, weird skits on Twitter and TikTok, as well as their much stranger electronic music and surreal horror series-like visuals. Based in Salt Lake City, Utah, Drive has maintained a presence on the internet that manages to keep you interested in everything they do, collecting thousands of followers across the internet, sitting at 330,000 just on TikTok alone, often found intimidating for being 10 feet tall and meeting Sean Kingston. It's a case of, you may not recognize the name, but you have likely seen the face. While I don't have the time to cover every skit Drive has ever done, I do want to go through their bizarre bit pop discography and see how they got this point in their career. So let's uncover the unpredictable, confusing history of Drive45. Jaden Clark was born on May 5th. There isn't much known about them personally. I've seen people say they're a college dropout pushing 30, but what you need to know if it isn't clear enough, Clark seemed to grow up on the internet, finding a love of music, comedy, and visuals. This passion seemed to become present in 2016. Drive's first single, Control Room B, was released to their SoundCloud on November 14, 2016. Leaning more on a bubbly synth-pop groove, the track itself appears to be about the struggle to live up to your expectations and having this hope it'll all get better in the end. You've had this dream in mind and have traveled miles to achieve it, yet you're not even sure if you've gotten to where you belong. Maintaining that control over your thoughts is hard. Seems like a letter of encouragement that things will get better. Hold tight, no matter how long you've been sitting in your cold room throughout your youth. Wish the vocals were better layered, they're much lower than the instruments, quite amateur as expected, you know. 2 months later, System Format was put out on January 21st, 2017, a pretty cute song about a crush where this person would rather be with them than anywhere else, finding them to be rent-free in their brain, with the crush clearly finding them to be insane. Yet they just want them to hear them out and give love a chance. Another meaning could be this struggle with one's identity during various life occurrences, feeling this need to perform a system reset to start over. A gentle singing style from Drive alongside a playful funky bit pop beat with light keys, quirky sometimes robotic vocal samples, and slick bass. Mixing isn't great here, but what do you expect? Drive then puts out their first EP of the same name on March 15th, 2017. We get ourselves 5 tracks that fit into the bedroom pop indie-tronica category. On May 17th, 2017, Drive released Crutches, adopting more of a bouncy glitch pop vibe with quirky vocal adjustments and pitch shifting. As for the song itself, it serves as another form of motivation to walk life on your own without using these crutches to weigh yourself down, telling you to ignore all the voices trying to hold you back and tear you down, describing his own funeral that he obviously won't be attending, likely putting his older self to rest. Making me think this could work as a scene following a disappointing breakup where you can hold your own hand independently, let go and give up that crutch to avoid more pain, surrounded by bubbly synths, bright keys, and funky bass. Following this release, Drive began doing small DJ sets around his local area, being referred to as a self-aware pop goofball, standing out early on for their honest lyrics and catchy unique instruments. Naturally, the artists wanted to find more musicians just like them, leading to them joining experimental media label Despot Music in mid-2017. Their song Artificial Sweetener was featured on the label's compilation Fleeting Moments on July 26. The lyric video sees Drive eating a few bananas next to a monitor of them performing the track while sitting in a rusty basement. Interesting foreshadowing. Anyway, I see this as a bit of a toxic relationship where Drive is aware it's going south, but something always keeps them from backing out. Instead, they decide to be ignorant and avoid confronting the truth. This person clearly has control over their personal space. Drive sees something going wrong and chooses to control the outcome themselves rather than letting others dictate it. It all goes by so fast, with this bassy futuristic song being barely 2 minutes. This glitch pop sound was further developed on their second EP, Have You Seen Me, on October 18th. One of the most popular tracks in their catalog, Queasy, is similar to Artificial Sweetener, depicting a relationship with a fascinating but problematic person who is controlling and has serious mental health issues. Despite recognizing these problems, the person hopes to make it work, leading to a danceable pop track with bright vocals and clever production. During 2018, Drive45 decided to be a bit of a funny man on Twitter. Before their music took off, Drive45 had quite the presence on the website, having this cute cat play that speed stacks game. They also posted funny skits, tweets, and memes, There was the first few hints of their sitcom interest as early as March. They were able to collect a few hundred followers for these tweets. Eventually, they began meeting up with their Despop friends in Los Angeles, collaborating with Kimotimo and Shady Monk on a few tracks. Window was released on November 9th, 2018, detailing this promise to stick by their lover no matter their flaws, asking to keep that window open anytime they need someone over a playful, bouncy synth-pop beat with a relaxed, laid-back cadence. Unlike this person's Water Pressure, this track is not subpar. And now, in early 2019, Drive45 randomly went viral for eating a banana with a microphone in their hand, with the cameraman aggressively screaming no. This was MagFest 2019 during the YouTube Poop panel, an event that Drive clearly had the time of their lives at. On February 23rd, 2019, Drive45 dropped this viral skit, having a conversation with quote-unquote Sean Kingston. Their following on Twitter just continued to rack up into the thousands. One would say Drive is a bit of a Twitter superstar. Drive even managed to get featured in a news article discussing what it means to do a vibe check. This is somehow not the last time Drive was featured on the news, because they ended up sparking a debate in the pasta community over how to cook pasta, getting called out by Alton Brown in the process. Other than being an influencer, they did a live set with Goopy from Food House in July 2019. Their popularity on Twitter gave Drive more of an outlet to promote their music. On August 30th, 2019, Elastic was released, tackling being overwhelmed from overworking and asking for some understanding, while reassuring themselves they'll bounce back despite the stress. They feel like they're being stretched to the point where they might just be elastic. The vibe is the complete opposite, with hopeful vocals and QC keys. I adore how much of a mess the lyric video is, all this random forms of text with honest statements, being filmed by both his phone and a grainy camera. The clear phone quality makes everything look fine, with the older camera making it all seem grim. Truly demonstrates their stress to do everything themselves. The EP Dried Up, released on September 13th, features tracks that explore themes of self-identity and the struggle to let go of the past. After successfully having Twitter by the balls, Drive joined TikTok in December 2019, posting skits just like they did on Twitter, even reposting a few of their old Twitter skits. Their first viral TikTok was a threat towards Home Depot that they'd buy all of the wood in stock. Drive45 was now a complete internet meme, with all of these bizarre skits posted throughout the peak of COVID in 2020, becoming this sort of at-home entertainment people needed at the time. All of these connections brought Drive to new heights. Drive had the opportunity to perform at a 6-hour virtual musical festival hosted by Open Pit on April 11th, 2020, called Nether Meant. The entire show was performed on Minecraft, with American football also being on the lineup. It was an incredibly packed and playful set. Just a few infamous moments being when they mixed the beat of Venja Boy's fun dance song We Like to Party with distorted mumble rap vocals from 100 Gex. They also incorporated the theme of 2001's Halo, transitioning it into the pop punk from Sum 41, and added gibberish vocals from Scatman Jean over the classic internet meme Hamster Dance. Believe it or not, Drive doesn't just sit in an empty room all day eating saltines coming out once a week to make a skit. New music was back on the menu. Yeah, the music took a stunning turn, bundling that bit pop glitch pop sound beginning on May 5th, 2020 with Everything I Own. Based on this feeling that no matter what kind of materials you have, you can still feel lonely, a habit of buying something new to make yourself feel better that doesn't appear to work. It's delivered in this almost robotic vocal tone alongside a glossy bit pop groove of plucky synths and various pitch shifting. They try to convince themselves they're fine being worthless, but I'm not sure if it's believable. A confusion that leads them to bad habits like planning on missing their train and looking for someone to blame other than themselves. Clearly not caring about the consequences of their actions, they need someone to pick their spirits up to make them feel better, as mentally and emotionally, they are broken. They're embarrassed and frustrated, having spent hours at Home Depot looking for shower curtains, only to discover their bag is missing and might have been stolen after a possible argument. They don't want to blame anyone and appear to have been distracted by their thoughts, putting themselves in a box where they just don't want to get help. Admire the interactions between Little and Big Drive, where Big Drive decides to almost take a walk in Little Drive's shoes sitting in the box. It's so weirdly edited, but it is sure fascinating. Drive45 was later part of Lollapalooza on August 15, 2020. Their biggest hit to date, Ab News, was released on September 3rd, 2020, beginning with what they have described as from the negatives to the positives, before fighting with this voice over money being a valuable asset in their life. It's not an issue. Nope, I was lying. It seems like a fight with this voice the entire track, a pattern where the speaker suggests taking away the other person's senses or abilities, ears, eyes, mouth. As it goes on, the control and manipulation increases, possibly symbolizing the effects of social anxiety by distorting perspectives and relationships with friends, wanting to know that insecurity deep inside desperately so the voice can exploit it. No matter how far they move into a new situation, they somehow struggle with following their goals. This voice continues to berate them, calling Drive a couch potato with no friends, sitting at their computer making synthesizer portamento like this. It becomes overwhelming, negative and positive thoughts collide. Trying out new clothes and making friends has the voice trying to bring them down, claiming they won't last and the clothes are ugly, even tempting Drive to max out their credit card and leave them paying back the debt in an attempt to stress them out. Drive can't even get a job without being ratted on. Bro might be the biggest hater known to man. By the end, the voice wants Drive to shut up for good. Given the amount of time Drive appears to be outside touching grass, it might not be a concern anymore. Stop letting these inner voices tear you down. You can do it. Longer than I anticipated only echoed this quirkiness on December 3rd, proving your harshest criticisms might come from yourself and not others, and that you have the choice to entertain these thoughts or not. Maybe the only person who has bullied you is you, comparing your current broken self to a much more motivated, successful version. The video displays this conversation. However, sometimes we should listen to these thoughts to identify areas for improvement without being too hard on ourselves. Where Drive says, "I rejected you after all we've been through. I was too blind to see you're literally me." You can say all of this, but actually going out to confront these thoughts is difficult. An act that has taken longer than anticipated. Their face at the beginning and end says it all. However, that comment about current you's wife was too far. Come on, man. In 2021, Drive slowed down on their posting rate to make their visuals more quality and surreal than before. By January, the channel had reached 1,000 subscribers. Since then, we saw this distinctive claymation and technology-focused style in both their videos and music. Almost like something out of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Drive's music was now being found through Spotify Discover playlists. They also collaborated several times with the brand Item label on its YouTube channel. On January 18, 2021, the video Sloppy Jarnt was released. It sees everyone's favorite creator Sloppy Jarnt Jeremy struggling to do a commercial for the Sloppy Jarnt brand, stumbling over their words before covering the pot with the jarnt in it out of exhaustion. The skeleton cameraman asks what the issue is. Jeremy wonders if there'll ever be anything more than the Sloppy Jarnt guy. Cameraman questions what is wrong with that, as Jeremy continues to beat himself up over this. Cameraman speaks about how this gimmick saved their business before signaling for another take that Jeremy accepts out of pressure, leading to a mental curveball discovering this was part of another scene, with Foil Rat Man calling for a cut. In alternative reality indeed, seeing a depiction of actors being overwhelmed to do the same thing by their directors. Following this, we meet a chore chart star performer on February 16, 2021. This is an interview involving our skeleton host and chore chart star performer, which has been the same guy for literally every week for a year straight. The performer expresses that while they aren't interested in awards, they do care about recognition, admitting that even though they have an ego, they're more interested in finding more tasks or chores to work on. They explain that they record their tasks and store them on several remote servers, using algorithms to manage them, not to create robots to do the work, but to invent new tasks for themselves, even though they don't enjoy doing chores. Skeleton interviewer comments that this must be their way of finding purpose, while mentioning their own situation of having to eat a messy hot dog, leaving a dirty plate, and asking the chore chart star to clean it up, which they agree to, showing that completing tasks, even dirtier ones, is part of their thing. Either that or it's a high-profile celebrity so far up their own ass they don't realize their own shit. Eventually we get a much longer scientific skit, Everything Can Be a Little Better, on March 4th, 2021, beginning with our mysterious host getting ready for a show ahead by putting shaving cream in 4 tubes that they then douse with yellow, blue, red, and green paint. After this unordinary procedure, the host uses the colored shaving cream to shave their mustache in the bathroom, finding the blue and green paint to be the best, I guess. Next, the camera is set up, and the show, What's Going On in There, is now airing. Is this a show about Drive's brain? Host talks about losing social skills and feeling anxious about leaving the house, but finds happiness in activities that wash their brain. They discuss how it's important to not dwell on bitterness and to find ways to improve their outlook. A fan named Curtis calls into the show to share his uncertainty about his job in sales at a computer cable company, wondering if it's his true purpose. Host explains that everyone pretends to have a purpose and that life is about finding enjoyable activities. Curtis realizes he doesn't dislike his job, but just needs something fulfilling to do on their days off, leading to Curtis singing. Host concludes the program by encouraging everyone to seek personal growth and engage in activities that keep their minds active while staying safe and content. After the show goes offline, Host engages in those activities, aka watching a random movie in the dark. On March 23rd, 2021, the Cousin Cowboy Code was released. It's another yap session between cowboy cousin Connor and their skeleton cousin. Connor wakes up from a bad dream that briefly worries Skeleton. After all is resolved, both of them state the Cowboy Cousin Code. Cowboy cousins aren't able to cry, cuss, or compromise, but can count coins, collect quarters, and crush computers? According to the skeleton cousin, it is 2197, and technology has become far too smart by that time to the point where it's become a national threat that targets cowboys for being traditional, basically. This leads to Cousin Skeleton yapping for the entire day while Cousin Connor is unable to stop them, ending in a pink creature stepping out of the wooden piano cover, causing both to stop talking. The last thing we see is this pink creature turning around. Whatever it is, the cousins seem to be quite afraid of it. At this point, I feel like I've stumbled across a horror series and these are just clips from the production. Similar to Sodikin, Drive45 might be putting something big together in the future. Drive's only song from 2021 was released on May 5th, I'm at the beach today, followed by the video Work Hard, Play Hard on May 17th. Zolo-inspired I'm at the beach today is pretty straightforward about its message, using this beach which seems more like surfing the interweb as an analogy for introspection. Talking about themselves so much makes them feel like they're somewhat narcissistic, with the verses only highlighting the struggle with narcissism and creativity, questioning individuality, and shared experiences like wanting all conversations to be scripted due to their social anxiety. All these thoughts are a part of them. Eventually they try to reach themselves to stop living life so relaxed and calm like being on a beach, waking them up to reality as, if it isn't clear, their entire world, aka mine, is spinning around at 100 miles a minute. An existence crisis where they wonder if they can actually prove other people exist or if it's just all in their head. Work Hard, Play Hard takes on a similar message with this conversation between Drive and Skeleton being quite overwhelming and confusing. Drive is clearly distracted and overwhelmed by everything, trying to discuss their mental state. They discuss the concept of work hard, play hard, a balance of reaching career and personal goals, which leads to more confusion and bizarre scenarios including trucks and skateboards. Drive shows off an unusual green blob in his closet that they state was forgotten by them and has been growing for months, possibly being a bundle of chores Drive had been neglecting for months. They question the skeleton if this thing is working hard or playing hard as a way to outsmart them. Skeleton backtracks, calling it a simple figure of speech before stating the green blob is just existing. Drive asks why they can't be like that. This leads to a moment of silence interrupted by a smaller skeleton asking about the closet's contents. The scene then cuts to Drive and the big skeleton on the floor, with the skeleton explaining that not everything needs to be significant, while Drive offers an apology. I think the fact that all of this is so confusing is the point. Finding meaning in the middle of chaos and confusion is a struggle. Some want purpose, some just want to live. To Do Bricks was released on June 23rd, 2021, which really put me through a loop where everything from the insane amount of jump cuts had my mind going into overdrive. It doesn't really want you to slow down, it just keeps feeding you new info. Truly piles onto you and doesn't give you a chance to breathe. Kinda like these to-do bricks. These overwhelming tasks they face being portrayed by plates and bricks. Plates are more fragile tasks that keep you emotionally attached, while bricks are more practical, piling up to the point of overwhelmingness. All stemming from this traumatic childhood encounter with so-called magical creatures who warn them about breaking plates and the bad luck it brings. If Drive keeps breaking plates, they'll have bad luck forever, keeping them motivated to work on these to-do bricks. Any chore put off would be considered writer's blocks. Towards the end, the mounting tasks are discussed and the lingering threat of bad luck. After adding another brick to the stack, it all falls down and breaks several plates in the process, showing that by adding just one more task can lead to a complete breakdown from an overwhelming workload. Just a stressful situation all around. Later on October 28, 2021, Gotta Gobble Green was released. Gotta Gobble Green sees Drive at the table looking to gobble some vegetables before being questioned where they got the vegetables. Are they ethically sourced? No, they were bought from the store. You think Drive goes outside? Drive struggles to remember the store, leading to their mind racing for an answer. They're interrupted by their skeleton friend who wants a gumball. After begging, Drive accepts the offer after finishing their dinner. This was a mistake, leading to this bird thing popping up to remind Drive to finish their vegetables first. These conversations waste so much time that Drive hasn't been able to finish the food and the mall is now closed. Skeleton lets out a sad cry. As a picky eater, I see this as an attempt to try to eat healthy but being somewhat scared to do it, so you procrastinate until you can try something more comfortable later on. In 2022, the channel continued to grow, reaching 6,000 subscribers by June. On January 11, 2022, I'm Stomach was released. And on February 11th, Perfect Case in Point was released. I'm Stomach is pretty much how a lot of people's brains work. It feels overworked and overwhelmed by the amount of chores they are requested to handle. Hard to stomach, if you will. While Stomach explains the problem with their boss, they are given more work that their human stays up at 10 p.m. to do. Stomach requests to speak to Brain for help that leads to more confusing analogies and dialogue. Brain basically tells Stomach to eat shit, as they have a lot on their plate too. Stomach just tries to look into it on their own. Brain explains their recycling process, that they take yesterday's thoughts and call it a new job or thought. As they continue to explain, their thought process appears to malfunction into complete nonsense before remembering to put their clothes in the dryer yesterday. Sounds like my own brain, where I remember that I had to do something the other day but I was so overwhelmed with other things that I forgot. Perfect Case in Point confirms these videos are all connected in some way. Do you have an appointment? Skipping lunch and taking the brunt for it? Okay, it's a progressive pop carnival ride of a piece, with the video containing shots of Drive testing out these blurry faced friends to do specific tasks that they end up messing up. I think this truly captures someone's hard experience with making friends. You have a desire to connect, you get let down, asking for help falls through, so you do something like a presentation by yourself. Basically, you would rather remain a lone wolf than work on a team due to the fact that you don't know how to communicate, or you hate to rely on other people out of fear they'll get lazy or misunderstand your vision and let you down. Like, man, I'll just do it myself. This is literally what my album was going to be like. Produce all the beats, mix, master it all myself, and do it with no features so I have nobody to rely on and get my exact vision. Problem is that I never even finished it. It's a lot of work, and content like this became more important to me. On March 10th, 2022, Empathetic to the Human Condition was released. It begins with a visit from Uncle Gerwin that leads Drive to go on a bird-shitting tangent. Drive explains that Gerwin isn't their uncle, and tells them that they should have gone to uncle school instead of Foot University. Apparently Gerwin is a podiatrist who eats toenails? Little Skeleton doesn't appear to be much of a fan. Drive introduces Gerwin to his cube cousin Brandon, who, just like all cubes, are super empathetic to the human condition and also bites. After Gerwin holds out their hand, Brandon bites their hand. Is it just me, or did I not hear Drive say they bite? Like, that went completely over my head and I had to rewind it back to hear if they actually said that. The reason Gerwin didn't hear that was because they had toe jam in their ears. I find the message here that sometimes you'll get distracted and miss out on the truth. A lot of context can get overlooked. It could also represent that long lost family member who's unwelcome but impossible to keep away. The video Busy Boss Business followed on May 5th, 2022, and Mrs. Mark Max Maddie was released on June 24th. Busy Boss Business gives me the vibe of some strange commercial you'd see on television that makes next to no sense. I don't think this one is that deep, honestly. Probably when you have a conversation with yourself about something that only impresses, well, yourself. It's just Drive acting out a commercial describing how much of a busy boss they are, where their abilities start at their feet. I bet Uncle Gerwin would be interested, before Drive needs a break and wants to swap roles with the camera skeleton. Mrs. Mark Max Maddie is another playful Zolo piece with occasional distortion, likely about humbling someone in your family, possibly an aunt or uncle. This family member advises this child to try to be more like them, and that their parents are foolish, leading to the kid wishing they're just as comfortable as they are with their lives, fearing that they're just a worthless mess who made a fool of themselves. By the second verse, this kid grows up to become a better version of themselves, throwing their old self to the side. Now, this kid tells his family member that they have surpassed them, while the clue is now not as comfortable and old. What a flip. This kid is now in control of their feelings and doesn't need to look up to their cocky family member who sniffs feet. The clue is no longer that guy anymore, proving that one day the younger generation will rebel against Guardians, only to end up becoming just like them. By October 2022, the channel had grown to 7,000 subscribers. The video Dishwasher Douglas was released on January 19th, 2023, and on March 16th, the track Something Something Lake was released. Using TikTok, Drive posted Dishwasher Douglas on their account, which ended up going fairly viral on the app, drawing more attention to their skits in general that the viewers found to be eye-catching, unique, surreal, and strange. Many compared it to the types of dreams they have. Fair. I can't believe this stuff is free. This looks incredible. Drive and Little Skeleton have this debate over dishwashing that leads to Little Skeleton bringing up Dishwasher Douglas. Drive inserts the plate into the dishwasher and reflects. We are then transferred into the dishwasher using smooth claymation and cinematography out of a horror movie. The ambiance is frightening. Seeing that one-eyed green dishwasher monster paint a picture of a birthday party. Oh, that's pretty sad. This is interrupted by Drive and Skeleton's conversation that Douglas stalks through the sewers. Douglas sees Drive typing in their personal bank info and heads over to their own computer to blatantly hack into Drive's bank account, using some sort of man-in-the-middle or packet sniffer technique. This happens while Drive gets distracted talking about popcorn. Moral of the story, make sure nobody's watching you type in your password. You might not even be safe in your own house. Something Something Lake is sure something. Groovy bubblegum bass. Being trapped in a place you don't feel comfortable in, causing you to want to leave this place. It might have been convenient before. Could it have been part of the same beach Drive was talking about 2 years ago? Not an ugly place, but it's all they know. An area of escape. A place to go when they feel overwhelmed by all the chores and stress resulting from them. They even refuse to hang out with friends sometimes. This is a common topic in their songs, and it really gives off this vibe of an unprepared Gen Z adult trying to make a living by overdoing everything. Drive just wants to live a life where they can relax more. I think this has to be the coolest music video they've done so far. It almost looks like they live in a claymation world at this point. It's too realistic. Later on August 31st, 2023, Cable Cobber Cable was released, and by September 2023, the channel had achieved 10,000 subscribers, gaining 3,000 in that month alone. Cable Clobber Cable displays the continued improvement and higher budget for these stop motion visuals. You can tell Drive put so much time into this stuff, introducing us to Aaron Aronson, who is some sort of line cult leader with an intimidating presence and an aura that only spells danger. It's not actually a real situation though, it's a show that the skeletons are watching. Meanwhile, the skeletons are complaining about the show being stupid, and Drive tells them to turn it off if they don't like it. They don't have to watch it. The reason they are watching these DVD movies is because the Wi-Fi is out. It's pretty much this over-exaggerated situation where there is no internet, so you have to resort to old technology that barely works. I imagine Drive as the adult trying to figure it out, and the skeletons being impatient kids. Sadly, the DVD vending machine completely breaks and now the skeletons have nothing to watch. A stressed Drive calls a cable service, taking them to an automated caller, Mrs. Chip, with an overly complex AI system that is completely failing to give Drive what they need. How did Drive call a school instead? Meanwhile, Little Skeleton attempts to order all the latest DVD releases possible. It's quite an overstimulation on the brain, but damn does it work. Trying to figure out the Wi-Fi situation while also trying to satisfy the skeleton's DVD movie demands shows the potential frustrations of AI technology and customer service today in general. Finally, on February 22nd, 2024, their latest song Ground Vision was released. Can Adult Swim sign them? Seriously, I don't even know what to make of this. Something this incredible shouldn't have just 70,000 views, bro. All these callbacks to early videos, you all need to watch this and just try to merge yourself in it. I feel like Drive has completely snapped here. They are beyond sick of all the damn chores and bricks they've been stacking. There's this intense frustration that echoes throughout, where Drive feels like they're being overlooked. They aren't succeeding the way they feel like they should be. They have big dreams, yet their bank account can't carry them as far as they want. It's some sort of therapy session that mentions past experiences, but they don't completely explain the inner turmoil you're facing. It's hard to express themselves given the limited area to do so. Wow, this is the type of thing that I doubt I can explain in full. Drive seems like the only person who knows what this all means. That summarizes Drive's entire catalog, honestly. This is Drive's world. Whatever this creator is cooking, I suggest that everyone starts paying attention. I get the feeling we are in for something crazy. I know I'm not the first to hear about Drive, and I better not be the last. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe for more base content. Give me more creators like this I can deep dive into. I love myself a mystery. If Drive45 isn't part of a global famous production by the end of the decade, we failed as a society. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Make sure to love all and peace.
Thank you.